Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Oppman, and I serve as Middle Tennessee State University's Vice President for Marketing and Communications. It is my honor today to serve as Master of Ceremonies at this event, recognizing the service of United States Air Force Colonel Aaron Reed, a native Tennessean and a proud graduate of our Aerospace Department. Before we begin, will you please rise, face the American flag, and render honors as appropriate with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated, and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here today to honor Colonel Reed, who is the commander of Civil Air Patrol, United States Air Force at Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. In this position, he provides Air Force advice, assistance, liaison, and oversight to Civil Air Patrol, a nonprofit, federally supported public benefit corporation congressionally chartered as the official auxiliary of the United States Air Force. Civil Air Patrol has approximately 70,000 members throughout the United States, Puerto Rico, and several overseas installations. They also have wings that operate in or out of the Virgin Islands and the District of Columbia. CAP USAF operates from 50 locations nationwide, providing oversight of CAP's 1,500 units and its fleet of 550 light aircraft. Middle Tennessee State University has partnered with Civil Air Patrol since 2014, providing support in aerospace education activities, assisting Tennessee squadrons, and hosting events for young men and women in the Civil Air Patrol Cadet Program. We have several representatives from our Air Force ROTC detachment, where Colonel Reed earned his commission, and members of the Civil Air Patrol are here today joining us for the ceremony. As I call your names, please do stand. They are from the Air Force. Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Cash, Commander, Detachment 790. Please stand, remain standing, and hold your applause to the end. Cadet Shannon Cassidy. Cadet Lindsay Chapman. Cadet Grayson Brinkmeyer. Cadet Marshall Graves, and Cadet Joey Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, the Air Force ROTC. Let's give them a round of applause. From the Civil Air Patrol, representing Tennessee Wing, its Deputy Wing Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Divers, himself an Air Force veteran and Air Force pilot. Representing Smyrna Composite Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Alan Cranford, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Hughes, and Cadet Master Sergeant Cody Jones. And representing the Murfreesboro Composite Squadron are Captain Corey A. King, who is also our interim flight training manager for the MCSU Aerospace Department, Cadet Captain Sean Green, Cadet Captain Joseph Taylor, and Cadet Second Lieutenant Kyle Green. Ladies and gentlemen, the members of the Civil Air Patrol representing. We're very, very proud of Colonel Reed's service to the United States Air Force, and here to say a few words about that service to the Air Force, I've asked Lieutenant Colonel Cash to come forward and share some perspective. Colonel Cash.
Well, good afternoon. What an honor it is to be with you today. Thank you so much, Mr. Oppman, for the invite. I always appreciate when I can come back home. I'm a MTSU Aerospace Administration graduate, a proud class of 2006. Also a fellow Detachment 790 alum like Colonel Reed. And so when I got that phone call, I was like, clear whatever's on their calendar, I'm going to MTSU to be a part of this. And so I very much appreciate it, sir, having the opportunity to hear your perspectives on your career, which has been incredible. What you've done in your time on active duty in the Air Force truly is remarkable. You told us a story about that photo to my left. Hearing about that, combat missions over Iraq, the impact you've had on our national security, and then transitioning into the educational arena and the incredible degrees and things you've earned, and paying that back, paying that forward to our Air Force. And now, as you work so hard to develop upstanding citizens and develop and inspire the next generation of aviators is truly remarkable, sir. So on behalf of Detachment 790, on behalf of the whole aerospace department at Middle Tennessee State University, I want to congratulate you on a career well done and best wishes in your retirement. And finally, you know, we have a saying at Det 790, I'm sure you remember this: train hard, fight tough. And once a Raptor, always a Raptor. So if you would allow me, I've got a couple of tokens of our appreciation for your service in your career. I've got a Det coin here that I'd like to present you with, and one of our vintage limited edition patches, if that's all right.
Colonel Cash, thank you so much. To further embarrass Colonel Reed, I'd like to read a few more things. Colonel Reed's service in the United States Air Force has been distinguished and varied. We talked about at lunch today that he's spent almost as much time on a university campus as many of our professors, and he has the degrees to show for it. I'll speak about that in a bit. I wanted to mention the fact that of his major awards and decorations include the Meritorious Service Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster, the Air Medal with 2 Oak Leaf clusters, the Air Force Commendation Medal, the Meritorious Unit Award with Oak Leaf Cluster, and the Air Force Outstanding Unit Award along with 2 Oak Leaf clusters, along with many other things that he's done in his career. An accomplished fighter pilot, combat aviator. We'll be talking more about that in a bit. And indeed, the photograph that Colonel Cash mentioned is here. This is a shot of Colonel Reed flying over Iraq in an F-15 on a sortie mission. So we are very proud of that. The unfurled MTSU flag captured by an Air Force photographer as his aircraft was being refueled midair. So it is a very iconic image of MTSU, and it's currently on display in our aerospace building. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to the partnership between Middle Tennessee State University and Civil Air Patrol, I am indeed a proud member of Civil Air Patrol. I serve as a lieutenant colonel and a member of Civil Air Patrol's Board of Governors, the National Policy and Oversight Board for the Air Force Auxiliary. In this role, I've seen firsthand the hard work and devotion and attention to detail that Colonel Reed has brought forth as Commander Cap USAF. Colonel Reed and his colleagues ensure Civil Air Patrol, the volunteer civilian auxiliary of the Air Force, meets the standards and expectations that the Air Force requires and demands of its auxiliary. Working with the Board of Governors and our National Commander, Major General Regina A., Colonel Reed helps ensure that the funding and equipment provided to Civil Air Patrol is wisely and properly spent. He also ensures that Civil Air Patrol is ready when called upon by the Air Force to carry out its vital emergency services mission. CAP operates the world's largest fleet of Cessna aircraft and conducts 85% of the inland air search and rescue operations under the direction of the Air Force Rescue Coordination Center. We at Civil Air Patrol are particularly proud that Colonel Reed was a cadet in the Civil Air Patrol as a youth, serving in the nearby Sumner County Composite Squadron, and I feel that connection as a cadet made him even more effective as the Cap USAF commander. Colonel Reed, on behalf of the Civil Air Patrol members here today and my fellow members of the Board of Governors, thank you for all you've done to make Civil Air Patrol stronger and more effective. Thank you. As I mentioned, he's a native of Tennessee, a native actually of Hendersonville. He graduated from MTSU in 2002, earning a bachelor's degree in aerospace maintenance. He holds three master's degrees and a PhD from the University of Georgia. I think he's got more sheepskin and frames than most of our professors here. MTSU honored Colonel Reed as one of his outstanding aerospace graduates during a ceremony at the 2024 Experimental Aircraft Association AirVenture, the world's largest aerospace gathering. And a frequent visitor of this and one of the mainstays of our aerospace program is our Associate Chair, Dr. Nate Callender. Dr. Callender, would you come forward and share some remarks?
Thanks, Andrew. It's great to be here. It's an honor to celebrate the career and service of graduate Colonel Aaron Reed. What would be the first of his many degrees, as Mr. Ottman has shared, is his Bachelor of Science degree in aerospace, concentrating in maintenance management, one of our 7 concentrations. Students learn aviation history early in their aerospace career here at MTSU. He may remember in courses like Intro to Aerospace, Theory of Flight, you learn about 2 brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, bicycle designers, mechanics who went on to create the first powered, controlled, sustained flight or participate in that flight. In 1903, we learn about Glenn Curtis, an engine designer who put his V8 engines in a motorcycle and set a land speed record in 1907. He went on to put those engines in airships and airplanes. Development of the ailerons, became known as the father of naval aviation. It's a legacy that some of our earliest and best aviators had their start as mechanics. And such is Colonel Reed's experience with his Bachelor of Science in Maintenance Management. After earning his degree at MTSU, in which you lead toward the airframe and power plant certificates with the FAA to become an aircraft maintainer, he went on to fly the T-37, the T-38, and the F-15E. It's almost certain, I haven't spoken to him about this, but his experience as a maintainer surely helped preparing to fly those aircraft. Knowing the systems, knowing the engines in and out helps to do that. But let's dwell on the F-15 for a moment. The F-15 entered service 50 years ago. One of the earliest F-15s that was pulled off the assembly line before production began was stripped down and went through some flights to set climb records. And so in January and February of 1975, the aircraft known as the Streak Eagle set 8 altitude records, one of which it made it over 98,000 feet in less than 3 minutes and 28 seconds. It still holds that record today, beating out the MiG-25 of the time. The aircraft also holds a perfect 104-0 air combat record. It boasted a 95.5% mission capable rate in the Gulf War. Modern fighters can't come close to that type of rate or numbers. It truly is a capable air superiority aircraft. Several years after graduating from MTSU in 2006, it's been discussed several times by now, this picture was taken. So Colonel Reed over Iraq in his F-15E unfurled his flag on the instrument panel. Pictures were taken. They made it back to MTSU, and we incorporated these pictures on a banner that are on the wall in the Business and Aerospace lobby, a big spiral staircase. They're right there for everyone to see. So for 20 years, prospective students, families, current students, thousands of them have seen these pictures. So Colonel Reed has been an aerospace ambassador for generations of our students. Thank you for that. The Aerospace Department's faculty, staff, and students thank you for your service to our country, and we are honored to call you one of our own.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was going to thank him at the conclusion of the ceremony, but let's give it up for the Assistant Director of the Daniel Center, Chris Rochelle, who's mightily maintaining our flags at this outdoor ceremony, and he's doing a heck of a job. Thank you, Chris. You're doing wonderful work. Next, ladies and gentlemen, this place where we assembled today is the MTSU Veterans Memorial. It is one of the few of its kind in American higher education, and it is indeed a special and sacred place on our campus. Dr. Hillary Miller, the director of the Charlie and Hazel Daniels Veterans and Military Family Center, is part of a special university committee of faculty and staff who ensure this memorial continues its mission of not only honoring those like Colonel Reed who have served, but also those MTSU students who made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation as members of our armed forces. Dr. Miller and Colonel Reed, would you please both come forward? And Dr. Miller, can you render today's honor for the Colonel?
Sir, you've not been out here before, correct? So we built this in We started in about 2005. It was actually opened in 2007. We had lost two political science students, Ballard and Pichet. You can see their names on here. They are here with the 71 patriots who were students first and served their country with honor. But in addition to them, we also have bricks out here for people who want to be part of this community. And this is how we built this memorial. There's all sorts of things, and if y'all have time or anybody wants to spend a minute with me out here, this is one of my very favorite places to be. We have all sorts of secrets, time capsules, certain placement of bricks are done special for different families. Lots of the cadets sign the backs of bricks, and we make kind of time capsules for them. We have a special brick for you as well, and we'll share that in a moment. But we also have another tradition that was started after you left here. By the way, no one is surprised that we have a memorial like this, and we have the Charlie and Hazel Daniels Center at this university. I mean, two unbelievable spots on one university, and that's not a coincidence. That was by the way this university thinks about its military. But is Chris able to come back? Mr. Rochelle, are you able to come help me?
I'm nervous to let go.
Okay. Okay, can you help me there, Dr. Ottman? Okay. So this was a tradition that we started in 15. We do this for our graduates. We usually do it at their stole ceremony when they graduate. But some people, like you, were here before. We had to get Colonel Cash one time after he had graduated. But these are our stoles that we give to our veterans. Now we do it right before commencement. So if you'll help me here, Andrew.
Yes, indeed. All right, Colonel, I'm going to do this for you.
I know you've heard about 1%. So there, at SPSU, we have really forcing us at our shoe pipe about 6%. Then says was like that give a figure. So really make that.
Thank you very much. I was jealous when I heard you guys gave me some wins. And I was back here last time. So I didn't get one of those. See.
And we do it for our staff members, but you have a lot of staff that is let go and so and the largest number with the pipe are in the attendance.
Okay.
All right, so that's it.
Well, you've done one more big job, Dr. Miller.
Okay, do that.
Almost.
So, and don't leave, Colonel. You've got a big job left. As Dr. Miller mentioned, one of the objectives of the Veterans Memorial is to, of course, honor our veterans and honored guests to campus who have served our nation, who have done so as alums. Before your visit, sir, we have had two national commanders of Civil Air Patrol who visited campus, and their names were added to this memorial. And on behalf of Middle Tennessee State University and the Charlie and Hazel Daniels Veterans and Military Family Center, Dr. Miller, why don't you walk him over to his brick? Let him see that. And if we could bring you back to this mysterious object that's under the velvet here, we've got something for you. Congratulations, sir.
Dr. Ottman's got that for you. This one to you. Yeah. And if quite chance you're voted, we will update. All right, so I think it's
Every weeks, there's no.
fine. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Colonel Reed to share some remarks. Let's give it up for our honoree, Colonel Aaron Reed.
Professor Amy, I know you've got to go to class. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll be in touch. She was a historian professor for me 25 years ago, made a huge impact on my life, got to know me as a student, mentored me, and this is the first time we got to meet. I haven't seen her in about 24 or 25 years, but she still remembered me, and so she's got to go to class. But thank you, Vice President Ottman, and to everybody that came out. Being a part of the True Blue community is, if you didn't get this message from the lunch we had earlier, it's really, really special to me. to be able to walk back onto a college campus 24 years after you graduated and have a professor recognize you, stop in between classes to come to this event. She was just told about this about 20 minutes ago. I do have a few other college degrees, and none of the other campuses, if I walked onto campus, would they do that. And so, as I mentioned at lunch, when I first set foot on this campus back in 1998, it felt like coming home. And I loved coming to class every single day. The 8 a.m. physics classes were a little painful. Wasn't always smiling for those, but going out to the airport and working with the professors, they treated me like I was a son, got to know me, and never once just felt like a student or a name on a roster. And that's something that I've taken with me into my career in the Air Force and as a commander now for a team of a couple hundred that get to work with the Civil Air Patrol, is to make my folks feel like MTSU made me feel, which is I'm important, I'm valued as a person. The professors wanted to get to know me. And so being back here, it's just an honor. Thank you to everybody who put in effort to do this. Definitely unexpected, but very much appreciated. So thank you. I think it's awesome that MTSU stays in touch with your alumni and reaches out. So Vice President Ottman will text me frequently. Hey, how you doing? When are you coming back? Let me know when you're going to be back. None of my other 4 schools do that, by the way. It's just MTSU. So everything that, all the big foundational things that have helped me in my career started right here at MTSU, and the values, again, that you guys taught me. So thank you. Y'all's leadership team is fantastic. Love coming back here. This campus looks nothing like it did 25 years ago, but all the changes for in a very positive way. So I'm super proud to be a graduate at MTSU. I will note that the MTSU is the only school flag I've ever flown in another aircraft, and that's because I'm proud to be a graduate of a great institution. So thank you very much to all the folks that put time into this. Thank you to all my Civil Air Patrol counterparts for coming out today. Thank you for the Air Force ROTC, my Detachment 790 family for coming out. Colonel Cash, thanks for your leadership to be out here for that. He was joining right as I was graduating, so we just missed each other a few years back. But my time at Detachment 790 was incredibly special. The camaraderie there, I actually ran into somebody that I went through class there with last year. He's a colonel at Columbus. Hadn't seen each other in 25 years, and it was like we hadn't missed a beat. So the family that I made at Detachment 790 was awesome. Met him in Iraq, Afghanistan. I'd run into him. So I'm glad to see that 790 is still doing really well. And then lastly, to the MTSU leadership, thank you guys for coming out. It means a lot to me. Every time I talk with you guys or come here, it just reinforces what I've known for a long time, which was coming to MTSU was the absolute right decision for me. And I'm super thankful to be a very proud graduate. So thank you all very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you to a few more folks, but I want to again start with Chris Rochelle. Let's give it up for him. Man, he would not leave his post to make sure that those flags stayed in place. I want to thank the team with True Blue TV Event Productions for today's audio-visual support. I do want to also echo Colonel Reed's thanks to our Air Force ROTC detachment for attending, the great representation. Colonel Divers, thank you on behalf of Tennessee Wing, and always love to see the Murfreesboro and Smyrna Composite Squadrons on our campus. Proud of MTSU Aerospace, proud that we have this connection with Civil Air Patrol, and just really happy that we had a beautiful day on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University to celebrate Colonel Reed and to welcome Mrs. Reed here to campus. Ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our ceremony. Thank you for attending, and thank you for watching on True Blue TV. Good afternoon.